My grandmother's will said her $2 million lake house goes to whoever solves her puzzle, and my cousins hired cryptographers while I remembered her stories. Grandma Beatrice's lake house sat on 15 acres of pristine waterfront property. The most recent appraisal came in at $2.3 million. When she died last month at 89, her actual family hadn't all been in the same room in 5 years. The lawyer's office felt tense when we gathered. My cousin Natalie flew in from New York where she ran a consulting firm. Catherine came from Los Angeles, fresh off selling her third startup. Preston brought his wife, both corporate attorneys checking their phones. I came from my shift at the elementary school where I teach second grade, still wearing my cardigan with marker stains. Your grandmother left specific instructions, the lawyer said, sliding a wooden box across the table. The lake house goes to whichever grandchild solves her puzzle first. She hid the deed somewhere on the property. You have 30 days. Inside the box was a leather journal filled with random entries, dates, locations, numbers, names scattered across pages with no clear pattern. There were also 6 sealed envelopes labeled with different months. What is this supposed to mean? Catherine asked, flipping through pages. There's no instructions, no key, nothing. Preston was already taking photos. I'm hiring a forensic document analyst. If there's a pattern here, they'll find it. Natalie nodded. I know a cryptography firm that works with the FBI. Catherine was on her laptop. I'm contacting a private investigation firm that specializes in estate puzzles. I just held the journal, running my fingers over Grandma Beatrice's handwriting. It smelled like her lavender soap. The first entry read, June 1968, Iris asked about the lighthouse keeper, told her the story of the storm. By day 5, my cousins had spent over $60,000 on experts. Cryptographers analyzed number sequences. Private investigators searched public records. They rented a hotel near the lake house and set up a command center with whiteboards covered in theories. I'd spent nothing and was staying in Grandma Beatrice's old room, reading her journal every night. The entries seemed random at first. August 1985, Preston wanted to know why the dock faces east. Explained about morning light. November 1992, Catherine asked why we paint the shutters blue every year. Told her about tradition. March 2003, Natalie wondered why we plant wildflowers in that corner. Showed her where her mother used to play. Each entry was about one of us asking a question during childhood visits, but one name appeared most. Iris. That was my name. I counted 63 entries with my name versus 18 for Preston, 12 for Catherine, and 8 for Natalie. Most of mine were from ages 6 to 16. Every summer I'd spent at the lake house asking endless questions while my cousins got older and stopped visiting. The sealed envelopes were labeled January through June. My cousins opened all 6 immediately, feeding everything to their experts who generated complex theories about mathematical codes and geographic coordinates. I opened only January, the month Grandma Beatrice died. Inside was a single entry. January 2024, Iris will remember the lighthouse keeper story. She always loved that one. The light guides you home, even in the storm. My hands started shaking. I was 8 years old when we'd walked to the old abandoned lighthouse on the north edge of the property. Grandma Beatrice told me about the keeper who'd stayed during a massive storm in 1952, keeping the light burning all night to guide boats to safety. Sometimes, she'd said, the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight, and the light shows you where to look if you're paying attention. I grabbed a flashlight and ran to the lighthouse ruins. My cousin's command center lights blazed from the main house as I stumbled through the dark. The lighthouse foundation was still there, mostly overgrown. I shined my light across the old stones, looking for anything unusual. Then I saw it. One stone had been recently repointed with fresh mortar, standing out from the weathered concrete around it. I pulled at it with my hands and it came loose easily. Behind it was a metal box. Inside was the deed to the property and a letter. Dear Iris, you're reading this because you remembered, not because you hired someone to remember for you. Every entry in that journal is a moment one of you asked me a question, but you're the only one who stayed curious, who kept asking, who wanted to know the stories, not just inherit the outcome. The others stopped visiting when they got busy with their important lives. You came every summer until I couldn't host anymore, and then you called every week to hear the same stories again. This house doesn't need someone who can afford to buy it. It needs someone who already loves it. The lighthouse keeper kept the light burning for those who needed guidance home. You never needed guidance because you never really left. The lake house is yours, sweetheart, not because you solved a puzzle, but because you were present for the life that happened here.